We are triggering. Hello, honorable members of the clan. So let's go to the Matlala Commission of Inquiry. What in the Cat Matlala accountancy are we hearing in that Commission of Inquiry? And I think I 100% agree with Advocate Silo that Cat Matlala is doing things deliberately to confuse the commission about his relationship with Morgan Maumela. But where I'm seated, I think I see what Cat Matlala is doing. He's trying by all means to avoid two things in this commission of inquiry. The 2 billion rand that was allegedly stolen from Tembisa Hospital. And because there was an investigator, an auditor of some sort in the name of Babita Diokoran, who was unfortunately assassinated because they wanted to end that investigation and silence her if she ever get called as a witness in court to put away the people allegedly stole the 2 billion rand. So I think he's running away from that, and he wants to confuse this relationship so much that it only focuses on a very very strange business model that they have put together. Hey, listen, I tried my level best, and I'm going to try my level best to also explain this to you. So the question was, how or what is the relationship between you and Morgan Maumela? At first, he went around the bushes and he went as far as saying that if he going to mention the relationship that he has with Morgan Maumela, this is an investigation that might incriminate him because it's being investigated, until some evidence came to show that he is actually not being investigated on the grounds of his relationship with Morgan Maumela. He really tried. He really tried. His lawyer. I like lawyers that really defend their clients, come what may. But I feel like Miss or Advocate Fadereva, she unnecessarily, I think when she realizes that her client is being pushed against the corner, which I also must say, ever since Lieutenant General Ntantlam Kwanazi said what he said last week, I am looking at all these lawyers with this eye. Like, Ken Matlala's accounts are frozen. And we all know that a lawyer, to take a mandate, you need to pay. And you need to pay up. Otherwise, they're not going to represent you. And if you're not paying up during the process, they are going to withdraw. So the question is, who is paying Advocate Fadereva? Because the accounts are frozen. Who's paying her? Anyways, that's besides the point. It's something that crossed my mind while I was listening, and I'm like, oh, Ntantlam Kwanazi, you really did a number on my brain here. Okay, anyways, let's move on. So subsequently, Ken Matlala was banned by the commission that, listen, you are not being investigated, and you also yourself admitted that you've not been approached in the investigations regarding your relationship with Morgan Maumela. So start answering questions about your relationship with Morgan Maumela. And well, reluctantly, Kat Matlala started saying, well, we met somewhere between 2016, 2015 or something like that. And they had something in common, the love of sports car. And they would meet at some restaurant in Sandton, and they came up with, as the relationship was maturing, then they decided that they were going to enter into a business relationship. A business relationship with a financial model that it sounds like a stock fell to me, but at the same time, it sounds like ukuhlanganisa, type of situation. Like, okay, we'll have, because I'm a businessman, you're a businessman, and we do business with government. Why don't we make life a little bit easier for us tenderpreneurs? Because sometimes when you get a tender, the government assumes that you do have the funding to buy the equipment and also pay salaries of your workers, because of the funds that you have. That is why some entrepreneurs will run to banks and borrow X amount of money so that they can begin the work. And then once the work is done or in the middle of being done, then the government pays that tender type of situation. So to make things easy for them, they will create this pool where Matlala would put 500,000 and Morgan Mamela will also put 500,000. And whenever the health department, because they dealt a lot with the health department, and now that I'm thinking, the biggest budget, apart from the education budget, it's the health. So they always knew that health had more money than any other departments in the South African government. So then they would then apply for a tender of some sort to supply whatever it is that they need. He says medical consumables. And so the medical consumables, it's probably, let's say, 200,000 rand. And then they do have the 200,000 rand from that pool. But now he was confusing this pool, whether it's an account on its own where they put the money, or it's monies that goes into the individual bank accounts, that 500,000 each. I got confused right there. I was like, yeah, that is why I don't like numbers. I mean, the last time I did accountancy was in grade 9 and I loathed it, even though I passed it well, but I couldn't wait to get to grade 10 so I can drop it. But this kind of accountancy, I could not get it. So from what I understand, it is an independent account. From what I think is running away from this account getting investigated, because they'll find that 2 billion rand in it, or part of it, in my opinion. So it's trying to run away from that pool because it's got, you know what they say, right? Follow the money. And when they follow the money, they'll follow it and get to this account that is trying to avoid and confusing it deliberately in the commission of inquiry. That's how I see it, and that's how I saw it, and that's what I was hearing Matlala was doing. So then what they will do with this pool, they'll take, let's say, the 200,000 and purchase the supplies, and then supply them to the hospital, and then the hospital will pay them 300,000 rand because they charge the hospital 300,000 rand, and therefore they make a profit of 100,000 rand. And that 100,000 rand, this is where now he's talking about 10%. At first he said Morgan Mamela will take 10% of the profit, let's say, because it was Cat who got the tender. So since Cat is the one who got the tender, Morgan Mamela will only get 10% of the profit. And Jiggy, it was something different. And I'm like, my head is aching at this point because that's what numbers do to my head, y'all. And then I guess I think the 100,000 goes into this account that is trying to avoid from being found by investigators, that pool. It goes back there, and obviously 50-50 is going to be shared. 50,000 will go to Morgan Mamela, 50,000 will go to Matlala. But this is what Matlala got caught in with the 360 million rand tender that he got from the SAPS. How come it went into your account? Because you're the one who got the tender, but did not go into that pool where also Morgan Mamela can dip into it whenever he wanted. I guess we are going to hear more information after tea break, because that's where I am actually most interested in. Where does Morgan Maumela come into the 360 million rand tender for SAPS? Let's forget the Tembisa one, because even the Tembisa one, if they did a thorough investigation, this pool or this account, that's where we'll find the majority of the money. I think. I think that's where we are going to find the majority of the money. But now, why did Ken Matlala play Morgan Maumela with the SAPS tender? How is their relationship? Did it break? Did they fight? Did Morgan Maumela ask questions like, hey, bro, you left me out to dry. You want to buy more Lamborghinis than I? Well, what's happening type of situation? Oh, and by the way, he managed to, but I don't think he managed because they're still going to come back to him. He did everything to avoid explaining his relationship with not just Morgan Maumela, but also Suleiman Karim. Oh, this man was going around in bushes saying, hey, this is investigation. I will incriminate myself, da 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 da, invoking his Section 35 of the Constitution. But the commissioners were like, we're not going to play that game. And they pulled out a constitutional court judgment, I think by JAFTA, who said that in order to pull that ace up your sleeve of Section 35, you must have mentioned the crime. That means explicitly say the crime of, let's say, Medicare 24. Now, we know that Medicare 24 is being investigated and Kat Matlala cannot speak on it because it's sub judice. But the one of, what do you call this? His, like, outside of the crime, the relationships that he has with people, he must mention a crime that he is being accused with the people that he cannot mention due to self-incrimination privilege. That is how I'm understanding this whole testimony. But yesterday, I got so annoyed. At first, again, I fully understand that a lawyer must do everything in their power to defend their clients. Oh, Miss Missy yesterday, she held, this is my opinion, by the way, she held the Commission of Inquiry by its pair. Oh, she held the commission by its pair, and she was not going to relent. And the part that really, really upset me in the end, because I thought, okay, they genuinely, even though it was a hypothetical scenario, I thought, you lost. You know, the commission decided to move ahead with Kat Matlala's testimony. I thought you were going to withdraw. And I really believe they were going to withdraw. Then now when they continue to stay on as Kat Matlala's legal representatives, I hated that they were emotionally, intellectually, and probably even legally manipulate the Commissioner of Inquiry, particularly the commissioners. They wanted the commissioners to feel some type of way. I think they were tapping into the human side rather than the Lady Justice side. Of course, the Commission of Inquiry took the Lady Justice's side by making that final decision that Kat Matlala will continue testifying. And then human aspect of the commissioners, they said, well, screw it. And when they realized that the commissioners decided to take Lady Justice's side, then why are you staying on? Why are you staying on? I did not like that at all. I felt like this is manipulation, and suddenly I felt disrespect towards Advocate Missy. I don't think I have any respect for her. Even Kat Matlala's lawyer, I don't think I have any respect for them any longer because I had a lot of respect for her. She was on fire. She was good. But that part, I'm sorry. I think that also pulled out Miss van der Heever from her sick bed, and she is now in the Matlala Commission of Inquiry on her own. I guess because I think the commissioners, if she continues staying at home, I think they also lost respect for Advocate Mini. And I would not be surprised. So Cat Matlala, well, he's going a nice road down. What am I saying? He is traversing down the road towards the Tembisa uh, saga, the 2 billion rand. We are going to get to the bottom of the 2 billion rand that was stolen from Tembisa Hospital, as well as the unaliving of Babita Diokoran. And he sees it coming. And he does not want to deal with that at all. He doesn't want to be told that we suspect. Well, maybe they're not going to say it that way. I think the inference that is going to be drawn from that is that it's highly likely that Kat Matlala is involved in the death of Babita Diokoran. Goodness knows who else they may have unalived due to the Tembisa hospital thing. Because I understand that the CEO of Tembisa Hospital at that time, when the 2 billion rand was stolen, allegedly, he passed away. Sus, I would say. Maybe he developed a conscience. I don't know. You know, when they say, when you sleep with dogs, you will wake up with fleas. I think this is exactly where we're at right now. I think we are dealing with the masterminds of the 2 billion rand that was stolen at Tembisa Hospital. And I think obviously SIU has already established those grounds. We've seen those sports cars being confiscated, and recent Phantom, is it Phantom, that Rolls Royce, or whatever it is, or is it no Bentley? uh, we've seen all of that, but now I think we're dealing with the deputy or the head of this whole thing. But you see that pool, the investigators need to get down to it, because I think that's where we'll find our 2 billion rand. Well, it might not be the whole thing, but the transfer of 2 billion rand solid, it's going to show in the paper trail of this account that Morgan Maumela and Kat Matlala own jointly. hmm That's my suspicion. But yeah, I think I would leave my thoughts on what I'm hearing from Kat Matlala in the Matlala Commission of Inquiry. But I think it's about to go down as we move towards Tembisa Hospital. Anyways, tell me what your thoughts are. I am very interested to hear what's up. All right? And I will see you next time with a new one. Goodbye.